It's another exciting day on the farm. The wind is blowing. It feels amazing out here, especially if you're not in the sun. And the sun has kind of went behind me and just a nice gentle breeze. Welcome so much to my channel. On this video, y'all, we're working on to-do list for the high tunnel. And also we're going to be doing a big harvest of potatoes and onions. If you are new here, I'm so glad that you stopped by. Let me know that you're new and tell me what state, city or state or country you're coming in from, so I can say hello back to you and welcome you to the channel and to this community. And go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and subscribe in faith that you're going to love hanging out here with me in my garden, in my kitchen, and all the things that we do on this channel. And for those who have been here, I love you. I appreciate you for continuing to show up to me. We have a lot of new people here, which is so exciting. And so if you are new, my name is Barbara. I live in Tennessee, and we homestead on, we have 77 acres of land. We don't homestead on that much, but we have 77 acres of land. We have 3 main gardening spaces that we garden in. We have a high tunnel, which is behind me there. And then we also have our outside garden that is 4,000 square feet that you'll see there and in upcoming videos. And then we also have a space behind our house with 5 raised beds, which is where my garden started. I was not born a gardener. I was born in the city. I moved to the country 7 years ago. And before I became a farmer, I was actually a corporate executive in HR. So I did that for 20 something years. So literally, y'all, I traded in high heels and suits and jets and all this to get my hands dirty every single day. And I tell you, I have so much peace and so much joy doing it. Let me tell you something. Also, if you're new here, we do have 2 children that are pretty much grown. They're 22 and 18. We have one, our son is still at home just for a little while. And then our daughter lives in Florida. She is a nurse. And then my husband is also in ministry. And so our plates are full during ministry. My husband does ministry full time. And then also I have an HR business. And then I do the farm as a business as well. So needless to say, we are busy. But one thing I love is growing food and teaching you how to grow food. But I'm going to stop the yapping. Let's talk about what we have on the agenda today. But sometimes I like to just give a quick overview, especially if you're new, so you can get like a high level overview of who did you just tune into and see if you want to stay here. I hope that you want to stay here. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. So today, so if you've been here, you know that we harvested a huge amount of onions and a huge amount of a huge amount of onions, a smaller amount of potatoes in a video that I did probably a couple of weeks ago. And we did that because we had 15 days of rain and we had 10 more days of rain in the forecast. And so we took an opportunity when there was a couple of hours where the sun came out and it was just sprinkling, and we actually harvested our stuff in the rain so that it would not rot. And so that was the major onion harvest that we had. We had over 200 onions that we harvested in that video, and then we had a small amount of potatoes and a couple of raised beds in our outside garden. But we have more potatoes and onions in the high tunnel, and that's what we're going to be focused on today to pull those out. They are ready, and then that'll also create some space for more for us to plant as the season continues. So we're going to get started with the potatoes first. All of the potatoes that I grew are from Wood Prairie Family Farm. They are an organic seed potato, which I highly recommend if you are interested in growing potatoes. And as we kind of go through us harvesting the potatoes, I will tell you exactly what varieties I got, and I will give you some tips on how we were able to plant these potatoes, and hopefully we're going to have an abundant harvest. Also, I did a specific video when I planted it, and I gave you 5 tips on how to plant potatoes. So definitely I'll link that video up here. You can go back and watch it, because if you did not plant potatoes in the spring, you can still plant potatoes in the fall. So again, if you subscribe and you're a part of this channel, you will see me plant potatoes next month for yet again another harvest. But for now, let's go in the high tunnel and let's see what potatoes we actually have to harvest. Okay guys, we're going to start with the first bed. In this bed, I think is a mix of red and russet, if I'm not mistaken. In terms of, before we pull them, one of the ways you can know that your potatoes are ready is they're starting to die back. Also, make sure that you track when you planted them. These potatoes have been in the ground for 90 days, which is right around their maturity. There also may be some Yukon Golds in here as well. I did 3 different kinds of potatoes, and I don't remember where I put them all. I see a weed growing right in the middle of the bed, but these are dieback. You can see that they are like falling down on the ground. I even see some cresting. So we're just gonna dig in here and see if we find some treasures. Got my husband with me, who's the master harvester. So we're just gonna go for it. Let me show you guys this. I've never seen this happen before. It's like the potato grew, but half of it is grown. I know that I did not put a size in here this big, so it's like this is a new potato that grew, but it's only halfway there. I'm not sure what that means. I've never seen that before at all. We'll keep going.
If they like this, you said it might good.
These are some nice size ones.
Yeah.
Wow. Woo! Hold on. Let's see that. Let's see that, y'all. Look. Oh my goodness. Y'all, harvesting for root crops is the best. These are a nice size. So if you saw my other potato harvest that I did a couple weeks ago, you know they were not this big. We'll talk about why. It's like digging for treasures.
Oh, man. I don't know if that was bad or not.
Oh, that's fine. I didn't get it right away.
Okay.
Anytime you're harvesting a root crop, something that grows below the ground, it is like digging for hidden treasures, and it's so exciting because you don't know what you're going to get, versus when you're growing things that are above the ground, you can actually see what you're getting, like lettuce, kale. You can already see the leaves, how big they are, and all of that. But underground harvesting is one of my favorites. And so these potatoes, again, I have 3 different kinds. I did a russet, I did red port, and I did Yukon Gold. And so between this bed and then I have another one that we're going to do in here, and then the 2 beds outside, I was happy to get the biggest potato harvest that I've had when it comes to these kinds of potatoes. I love the difference in colors. Now, Yukon Gold is a classic. You can't go wrong with a Yukon Gold. Russets are something new to me that I hadn't done before last year. And so I really wanted to try and grow that because, again, that's a standard one for baking. And then the red port potatoes, those are good. I use them for potato salad as well as the Yukon Gold. But Wood Prairie Family Farm is where I got all of them. They're an organic seed potato. I've used that company for the last 4 years, and they have always done really, really well. Whoa, those are russets. Let's show that.
Russets.
Oh, see, you gotta be careful. These are the biggest potatoes I've ever grown right here.
They look good.
Y'all, spoiler alert, this harvest was amazing. I cannot wait to show you what all we were able to harvest. It was hot on this day. We still don't have our shade cloth on our tunnel yet, just because with all the rain and stuff, it's just been a challenge. But this particular day, it's probably 80 degrees, but it's probably 95 or close to 100 in here. And so we definitely had to take a break after this first run. But y'all, we keep harvesting, and we're getting great success. Now, let me tell you about when planting potatoes. Now, I plant my potatoes in raised beds, but obviously you can do them in the ground. You can even do them in grow bags. You can do them in trash cans. I've seen people do that. And so they work very, very well. The thing about potatoes is they definitely need to be fertilized, and you need to know the variety that you're growing and whether or not it's a determinate or an indeterminate. Similar to tomatoes, there are 2 different kinds of potato varieties. Also, some varieties require you to hill them up, meaning making sure that you put soil around them because of the way that they grow, and others do not. So it's really important that you know the variety that you're growing. Know that if it's a short season, mid-season, or long-term season. Those are the things that I see that trip people up when they're growing potatoes, is treating every variety the same and not really being keen on the variety that they're growing and what they need, and then also fertilizing. It is a root crop, so it definitely needs to be a fertilizer that is high in phosphorus, but then also you need one that's high in potassium as well. And so you don't want too much nitrogen when you're growing your potatoes, because nitrogen is just going to give you a lot of leafy greens on top, but the potatoes below the surface are not growing as well. So make sure that you have a balanced fertilizer. Like I said before, if you have missed this spring window of planting potatoes, there is going to be another window where you can plant fall potatoes, especially if you're in my zone 7. Let's see what you got, buddy. Let's see. That's a big one.
Big one. It was down in the deep.
We have most of the vines pulled up at this point, so we're just going back checking to make sure we didn't miss anything, because of course potatoes can run deep. One of the things when you're harvesting your potatoes, make sure that you place them gently in your bucket and not throw them, because the skin is very, very thin. You want to let your potatoes cure in order for them to be able to be put in storage. And so you cure them very similarly like you do onions and garlic. Y'all, these are the biggest potatoes I've ever grown. Look at this russet. Y'all, that is the size of my hand. There's another one. Y'all, and another one. Y'all, these are so big. We are having great success. Our basket is almost full. I'll show you definitely. Oh, here my husband comes with another. Watch the lemon balm plant back. Here he comes with another bundle. Another bundle. The sun is so bright out here. Hopefully you guys are seeing this. Beautiful, beautiful potatoes. Now this is the second bed, y'all, that it's like maybe just 25% of potatoes that we threw some extra potatoes in. So my husband's gonna harvest that. Y'all, we have such a big harvest. I wish I had a scale out here. This is by far the biggest, these type potatoes. Now obviously, if you don't know, I've been growing sweet potatoes. And those are big, but these are the biggest non-sweet potatoes I've grown. Y'all, we came out here. It's hot in that hot tunnel. We don't have our shade cloth on yet. It is on the list. Oh, and it's in the kind of the middle of the day, which of course you don't typically want to harvest in the middle of the day. You especially don't want to harvest in the middle of the day in a hot tunnel without a shade cloth. But outside it's like probably what, 80 degrees. Yeah. It just gets real hot in there. So we came out here to take a breath. My phone was heating up. That is the biggest potato harvest I've had of like Yukon Golds, russet, red. I'll have to put the variety of the red that I tried up here. It was a new variety to me. All of these potatoes came from Wood Prairie Farm Organic. Y'all, I am so pleased. This is the biggest. Y'all, let me just tell you something. I have been growing food for 5 years. Potatoes was one of the things that I have never done well at. I've gotten better a little bit each year, but I have never, ever had this many potatoes. Not ever. And I say that to encourage you to keep going. If it's something that your family eats, if it's something that you like, don't give up trying to grow it. I have so many examples of things that I was not able to grow for the first 2 to 3 years. And I kept at it. I kept researching. I kept trying different techniques. I kept listening to other people, and I finally got it. Spinach is one of them. Carrots is one of them. I could not grow that at all. Cabbages. So I'm telling you, if you're tuning in and you're new, I want to give you hope. Now, there's things that I have not been able to grow that I'm like, it's okay because I don't eat you anyway, like beets. Now, I do want to grow beets because I really want to freeze dry them and dehydrate them for beet powder, because my husband puts beet powder in his smoothies, and that stuff is expensive. And beets are good for you to juice. So I do want to learn how to grow beets, but for whatever reason, it has evaded me such far. And I do beets off and on. One year I do them, like this year I didn't do beets at all. I'm like, beets, you're not going to take a break. We're going to take a break because you tripping. You don't want to grow for me. You out here growing for everybody else. And so I'm going to let you be. But we may try beets again in the fall. All I'm saying is this, because beets is not something that I actually eat on a regular basis, I will still try them, but I may not be as persistent every single season. But things like potatoes that are a staple, right? You can do so much with potatoes. So if there is something that you are spending money on at the grocery store, something that your family is eating, if you can grow it, grow it. Do not give up because the first, second, third time did not go well. Figure out what you're doing wrong and keep going. I'm so proud of this potato harvest. If you were here before, you saw that we actually harvested probably half this size of a harvest out in my outside garden a couple of weeks ago. It was a video, I'll put it up here. We did an emergency retrieval. Now, those potatoes were smaller than these, and let me tell you why. My assumption, well, it's not really an assumption. I think I know why. First of all, those potatoes there, I harvested those a week ago. So they were before their maturity date. And so they were on the smaller side. Most potatoes, at least the ones that I'm growing, the Yukon Golds and Russets and the red, all had an average maturity date of around 90 days, 80 to 90 days. And so we are at the 90th day, actually at the time of this video. And so they have reached maturity. Also, I saw the signs that they had died back. And I want to say that those out in my outside garden were planted probably a week or so later than these. So again, timing makes a difference. You know how if you've ever given birth, or if you've ever given birth to a baby and you've made it to that last trimester, you know that the baby, they said that the baby grows very, quickly those last few days, those last few weeks. I remember with my oldest, my daughter, I went into preterm labor, so I was on bed rest. And so they were trying to keep the baby in, obviously. And they was like, every day that she stays in, it's better and better, because every day they make incremental progress. And so I use that analogy as the same with potatoes, because you keep them to their maturity. If you harvest at 70 days versus 90 days, you're going to see a huge difference in the size and the growth of the potato. So kudos. I'm so happy. Other things that I think that were helpful is that fertilization was really key, and making sure that you use the right fertilizer for potatoes is actually key, and making sure that you have really loose soil so they can grow and they're not compacted. So we got our potatoes done, and so now we're going to do our onions. Again, we did a huge onion harvest in a previous video. In that same video that I talked about, the emergency retrieval when it was pouring down raining. And so we got like 200 and something onions there, and they're all curing in their respective places. We have some curing in our root cellar, and then we have some curing in the high tunnel. But we have some onions. I did something new that I've never done before. I had extra onion slips, and I just kind of put them around the perimeter of some of my beds. Just to see what would happen. So it's not many, but we're going to pull those, and that way all of the onions will be harvested, except we have onions. That's not all the onions. I have onions still in a green stalk in the back of my house that are not ready. And then we'll check on the onions out here in the outside garden. They've had another week or so, so we'll see if they're getting any bigger. But next up are the onions. Or while we're out here, let's switch gears and continue to cool off. And we have one more fig tree that we want to plant. And so let me take you over to where my husband is, where he's planting our fig tree. Okay, so as an update, if you're new, we do have a fruit orchard that we started just last September. So we are new to the fruit tree game, and we keep adding. So what we're adding today is a fig tree. This fig tree is called the Violet de Bordeaux. I'll pop a picture up here. It is absolutely beautiful. I cannot wait. And we have it probably, I don't know, 10 or 15 feet from another fig tree that we planted a few weeks ago that you can see back there in that cage. And then behind those fig trees are 3 peach trees. And then over here is our fruit orchard. That'll be cut next. If you're noticing, y'all know we've had a lot of rain, so it's been hard to keep up. So this will be our second fig tree. This fig tree is from Fast Growing Trees. I absolutely love Fast Growing Trees. I 100% endorse Fast Growing Trees. I am an affiliate for Fast Growing Trees, but I only talk about things that I love and that I actually use, and I was actually already buying from them before I became an affiliate, which is always the best case scenario, right? I don't just do affiliate stuff just to make money. I do it for products that I love and that I can stand behind, and Fast Growing Trees is one. I do have a special discount code anytime that you want to buy something from Fast Growing Trees. It is FGTLFF20, FGTLFF20. I'll pop it up here, but then also it's always in every video description box. They always have a sale. Like, if there's 365 days in a year, they got a sale 364. They always got a sale. So people have said, oh, they're expensive, but they always have a sale. And with my code, you get 20% off, which is an even extra blessing and discount. So if you are in the need of fruit trees or landscape trees, crepe myrtles, you know, red oak, like shrubbery, greenery, what have you, I cannot endorse them enough. The customer service is phenomenal. Every plant that I have gotten from them has looked so good and it's growing so well. So definitely, if you're in the market, Fast Growing Trees is the way to go. And no, they're not sponsoring this video, but they sponsor me all the time. But I'm telling you what I know. So this particular plant is in, I think, a 1 quart. So it's very, you know, small relatively. So it's not going to be much to dig this hole. So this is our second fig tree. The first tree we got from a friend, and so I'm not sure what kind that is. This right here is a Violet Bordeaux. Again, it's from Fast Growing Trees. I heard about this on another YouTuber's page, and they said that it tasted amazing. And when they showed me, showed the fruit on the video, it just looked so good. I'll pop a picture up here if I can. But I was not even aware that I liked figs. I was at someone's house actually picking some pears off of their pear tree, and she had a fig tree. And I asked her, I was like, oh, what's that? She's like, oh, that's figs. And I was like, I don't think I like figs, because my only memory of figs are fig Newtons, and I hated those growing up. I did not want them in my lunchbox. I did not want to see them at the lunchroom table. Like, that little yellow package with those fig Newtons in was just not appealing to me. And she was like, oh, it's different. And I popped one in my mouth and I actually liked it. I was surprised. And so that's what made me grow a fig tree. I've always heard people talk about how good they are. And so that's why it's always good to try and branch out, and because you may find, you know, your next favorite thing. But anyway, we're digging the hole. As you can see, the plant is relatively small, so it's easy to pop in here and only takes like a few minutes. We put compost on the top, and then we put brown mulch and cover it, and then my husband puts the cage back on it, and then it's just protected like everything else. Okay, I took a rest break out here because it feels much better. I'm gonna brave myself and go back in to the hot tunnel to try to get these onions, but we're gonna try to make it real quick. I'll meet you back out here to let you see what we get. Now, here are the onions that we pulled a couple of weeks ago. They're in the greenhouse curing. You can see that they're making good progress. They probably have another week and a half left, and they'll be ready to store. Now, I haven't grown onions in my hot tunnel since the very first year that I grew onions. In that particular year, they didn't do very well, and that just could have been because I didn't know what I was doing. But look at that. That is a very nice size. But what I did this year, I had onions starts left over because I had so many. And so I decided to just plop them around the edges of some of my raised beds. So you just see me pulling them out here. Some are, you know, small, some are medium, and then some are relatively a nice size. But I thought it was a great way to utilize the space. It was a great way to utilize the onions to make sure that I didn't throw them away. And then also, I think it acted as a deterrent, just being on the outside of the perimeters of the bed, because most animals don't like the scent of onions. So that's a pretty good haul from one bed just along the side. And so I think I'll do that again. Y'all, it's hot in there. We got about 20 onions. Absolutely beautiful. Just around the edges of 2 raised beds. I just had extra slips and I just put them along the sides. Y'all, that's a whopper. I will do that from now on, for sure. I have some that are real small, like these. I'll just take these in the house. I won't even try to cure those. I'll just take those in the house and use them. But so good. So very good. Matter of fact, I'll probably just take all those up to the house. You saw the ones that are curing back here. So let's go check on the onions. The next to the last set of onions we have that's outside is out here. We looked at it last week. Oh my goodness. Before we do this, let me turn the camera around. I just saw the most beautiful, beautiful sunflower in my garden. Those are the orange Pro Cut Excel. But look at this one. Oh, absolutely stunning. Oh, makes me so happy. Okay, so this is the bed that has our red onions in it. This is a Vigo Garden elevated raised bed. I love this bed because it's waist high. They still look kind of small, but they're a decent size. They are a decent size. Let me think about this. Because I may actually want to use this bed for something else. And so I may be willing to go ahead and pull these. Like, that's a little tiny one. It ain't going to get no bigger than that. Some of these are real tiny. So should we pull them? I think we should. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do in this bed. I may do a whole bunch of flowers or green beans. I haven't decided. Let's look. They're like small to medium size. I don't use red onions a ton. I use them obviously for salsa and things like that. I wish I would have grown more because I have an idea of something that I thought about that I'm like, that's a good idea. And it uses red onions. But I didn't have that idea when I was thinking about planting red onions. Now I wish I would have done more. But these are pretty. I think I'm going to go ahead and pull them. I've already started now. Yeah, I should have never started. Now, these are on the smaller side. I don't know why these are smaller. I don't remember when I planted these, but I don't think it was too much far behind. And for whatever reason, I didn't write it down, which is why I'm always telling you to write stuff down so that you remember. Because at least I could troubleshoot. The soils should be good. They are not too close together. They're probably closer together than some of the other ones. They're just not as big. Now, these are red candy onions. They're not usually as big as my yellow candy onions, but they're usually bigger than this. But y'all, I'm just going for it. I'm not going to complain. About to harvest them. That's what we're about to do. Oh, I keep changing my mind. Okay. I've done half the bed. So let's compromise. This is half the bed. I still have another half. I'm going to leave the other half. Let's make it even. and let's see if they get any bigger. Deal? Deal. So after harvesting those onions, I spent the next hour and a half pruning and clipping all the tomatoes to the trellis outside. This was long overdue. I did this entire row, which is 100 feet, and then I have more tomatoes on another row, which is about 25 feet. And so it's all done. You can see we have tomatoes growing that I didn't even know they were there because it was so crowded. Okay, friends, I'm tired. I've spent a lot of hours in the garden. So just to give you an update on the potatoes, my husband weighed what we harvested. It was 36 pounds, so not 50. But I think with what we harvested a couple of weeks ago, we're probably right at 50 pounds of potatoes, which is amazing. 50 pounds of potatoes to harvest in one season. For me, it's great because I've never done that many before. So while the camera was off, I spent time pruning all the tomatoes outside. This is supposedly our last day of sunshine. We've had 3 days of sunshine in a row, so we have been busting our butts trying to get stuff done, and it's still not all done, but I don't have a lot left. It's supposed to rain. In the forecast, it says for the next 7 or 8 days. I got all the tomatoes out here pruned and clipped to the trellis. That's something that had not been done, and so we were able to check that off the list, so that is good. What else I need to do? If I had more time, I need to fertilize everything out here. I'm gonna see if I can just push through and get that part done. I'm gonna look and see what time it's supposed to rain tomorrow. What else? Y'all, the garden is looking so lush, so beautiful. I cannot wait to give you a garden tour, but she is looking so great. One of my goals this year was to have a productive but a beautiful garden. I wanted the space to be beautiful, and that's exactly what has happened. What else? Oh, I also harvested my lemon balm. I should have took a video of it. It's overflowing in that container, which is what I wanted in one of my Vago garden raised beds, the circular one in the corner of my garden. It was overflowing, and the Japanese beetles, y'all, these beetles are everywhere. I am literally just out of time. Not having a lot of rain, having a lot of rain, I've said before, it presents its challenges. It's great for the garden unless you get too much, but you can't hardly, when you have a garden space this size, it's hard to maintain when you don't have days that you can work outside. But I've done all I can do, and we're going to pray over it. That's all I can say. So thank you guys so much for joining me on this journey today. We got our potatoes harvested, our onions harvested. I'm so pleased with my harvest. This is the most potatoes I've ever done in a season. And so I'm going to see if I can do it again in the fall. If you're going to grow fall potatoes, say me down below. Let me know that you're going to be with me on the journey to grow fall potatoes. And y'all, again, look at these. Look at this behind me. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Make your garden a place that you want to come to. Make it. Now, you may not be enamored with flowers like me. I absolutely love flowers, but make it beautiful in your own way. Remember, y'all, this is a journey. Let's grow together. I'll see you next time, friend. Thank you so much for stopping by our channel. I invite you to go to our website, livingfoodsfarm.com, and peruse around and see if there's something that you might want to purchase on our site. We have a ton of digital resources, but we also sell sourdough starters. We also sell salves, insect spray, and our famous jalapeno salt is always available in the throes of the summer. So take a look around, and I would love if you would just take a look and stop by. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel, and I cannot wait to see you in the next video.